Good afternoon to everybody, and thank you for joining us on this panel discussion about shifting to cloud, transforming traditional businesses in Sri Lanka. At the outset, we'd like to thank Federation of IT Industry Sri Lanka in association with the Ministry of Technology for giving us this opportunity to host today's panel discussion. Let's take a quick look at some statistics about Sri Lankan internet penetration. 50.8% is internet penetration, growing at about 8% today. 73.6% of the eligible population has a bank account. 6.2% today makes online purchases. There are about 7.9 million social media users in Sri Lanka, growing at 23% year on year, and 30.4 million mobile connections for a population of about 22 million. So we are looking at a consumer base which is all poised for digital undoubtedly. In the second instance here, we just passed the 12 months mark since the World Health Organization declared the pandemic. As per latest reports, we are seeing progress towards normalcy in the second quarter in US and UK, and herd immunity the third quarter. So global economy including stock markets, have rebounded from the lows of 2020. So there is more of optimism, and hence we are together here for the esteemed Sri Lanka Internet Day. However, we are going to see a new normal, and 2021 will be an era of transition, as we can all see. There is a pent-up demand in markets, which will differ industry-wise, and businesses have to be geared up to handle this disruption. It is in this context that we are having this discussion today with a distinguished panel. It is my privilege to introduce you to them. To begin with, we have Mangala Vikramasinghe. Mangala is currently the Group Chief Information Officer at Diesel and Motor Engineering PLC, DIMO in short. DIMO is a household name in Sri Lanka. It's an 8 decades young company best known for its leadership in transportation and infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Taking on a Group CIO role in a conglomerate like DIMO needs a diversified experience. This is what Mangala has, because he has donned various senior leadership, IT leadership roles with multinational giants like Unilever, Coats Threads, Haley, Sampath Bank, and the Hatton National Bank. He loves to share his experience in generation in Sri Lanka, and is a visiting lecturer attached to Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering of University of Moratuwa. Mangala also has the distinction of being the president of the first corporate Toastmasters Club in Sri Lanka. He holds a bachelor's and master's in information and communication technology, along with a master in business administration. He is currently pursuing a PhD in business management. Moving on to the next speaker, Subbu. Subbu Anand is the vice president for mid-market business at SAP, managing Sri Lanka, India, and Bangladesh businesses. With 27 years of experience, Subbu has been associated with multiple facets of the IT industry. Prior to SAP, Subbu has worked for IT majors like IBM and Oracle. At SAP, Subbu is responsible for customer success and is a known trusted advisor to several large corporations. With this, we will begin the conversation now with a panel discussion. My first question is to Mangala. Mangala, good afternoon. I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
Hi, Anup.
Hi. Welcome to the discussion.
Oh, thank you, Anup. Thank you, Anup. Thank you for that long introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you deserve it. So, Mangala, you are the technology custodian with a leading enterprise conglomerate. We understand there is increased pressure on return on investment for every rupee spent on technology, and business expects you to drive innovation at the same time. How do you manage the situation to deliver on better business outcomes? Over to you, Mangala.
Thank you, Anup. So I'll actually probably pick random examples and give, because it's a very short time, so I'll try to probably add value. So it's, and thank you for the organizers and sponsors for offering me this, and then pleasure being here. So ROI, Anup, ROI is been a question, I think, traditionally and now as well. Even ICT investments traditionally had probably challenging times in justifying a return, etc. But now the challenges are different. I think we've gone into a different phase because ICT industry has grown so fast. It has gone so fast, and then probably many disruptions has also helped in this exponential growth. And this transformation in ICT and also technology driven, because technology changes have also been very rapid. It comes in various forms. It comes in various sizes, forms, colors. So transformation is, we can't avoid transformation. No company, no small organization, big organization, medium scale organization can't avoid this transformation. And also no industry can avoid it. This is not industry specific anymore. So ROI, justifying those investments and return is key. And then to justify ROI also, and those decisions have to be very fast, because windows of opportunities also been narrowing day by day. So how do we do that? I'll probably draw parallels to ICT discipline here and also finance discipline. ICT discipline has grown rapidly. And I think finance discipline in this is trying to catch up. Hope my CFO is not online. Otherwise, it will be difficult for me to go back and talk to him. But he's probably two notches ahead of us now in this. But in general, how do you actually justify what models? Traditionally, these models have been to justify, I would say, IT operations, ICT operations, the impact of ICT operations. How many people we would replace by IT application? What are the efficiencies that we could create in back office? Or what are the efficiencies that you could create in service levels to consumers? Those are the ones that we traditionally considered. And those have been very easy, I would say. And the probability of error is also very low. So you can get it right in calculations and decisions, and most decisions are correct. But now it is different. This transformation, digital transformation, now the transformation what we talk is a completely a different pace. We don't anymore talk about those marginal efficiencies increases and all that. These are probably differences in your value chains, complete overhaul of value chains, like example, customer experience. So you do change customer experience through technologies, through ICT, and your top line could be very different. Your bottom line could be also very different, because you could have better margins to differentiation, and then no one can match those margins. So your impact is huge. But how do we actually justify this impact when you go to your board, when you go to your top management? How do we quantify this? What tools and techniques this finance people have in measuring this? It is tough. So I've been probably trying to do this through traditional mechanisms and different ways. And that, I think best way, in my experience, is probably scenario-based analysis. You need to take a scenarios in this example. What is your different scenario in this customer experience creating value? So you need to have that holistic approach in trying to figure out ROI. So I think the models and tools and techniques that finance would probably bring up to do this assessment also will have to be different. And it has to be holistic. It is not just one area. So you need to look at that whole thing. It could be complete different, even digital business, Anup. So how do we quantify that complete different digital business that would bring revenue? So these are the ones actually that we would contemplate. And I am pretty sure, I think finance discipline also, I think gearing up to these ones. And then they are facilitating, supporting in these investments. However, for CIOs, this message is probably CIOs, and then in IT industry people, they have to take responsibility to justify this. They'll have to have probably competencies, skills, not the arrogance, of course. Those era is gone. Now you need to look at you as a business leader, transformational leader. I would say the best transformational leader in an organization these days, it is arguable, is actually the CIO or the IT custodian, technology custodians. So they have to have that persistence, skills, competencies to look at these scenarios, understand those scenarios, present those scenarios as a whole, to convince the boards and the finance discipline. So that is my actually first takeout in terms of how do you actually justify ROI in this era, which is quite different to traditional ways of looking at ROI and justifying your investment.
Sure. Thanks, Mangla. I think that is very insightful. So basically, we're talking about looking not just at cost optimization, but a combination of optimization plus upside in revenue as a combination should be the key factor in deciding, investment technologies. That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. So this basically takes the next question to Subodh. So we have, work with a software provider now. And SAP is, as we all know, is a market leader in enterprise application software. SAP has over 437,000 customers in over 190 countries running SAP applications. That includes distinct solutions addressing needs of small businesses and mid-sized companies as well. Can you tell us how has SAP helped so far in transforming digital economy in Sri Lanka specifically? And what role do you see SAP playing in enabling digital inclusion at large, considering the current population and penetration right now in Sri Lanka? Over to you, Subodh.
Sure. So thank you, Anup, for those questions. And Mangala, thank you for providing that perspective. That was quite an interesting point of view that you spoke on ROI. Coming to you, Anup, let me take one after the other. The first question was about SAP's presence in the digital economy in Sri Lanka. When we set foot into the country, this was about 20 years back. Okay, so our history dates back to 20 years. We've been fortunate to work with a lot of leading lights industry players inside Sri Lanka. And I'm very happy and very proud to say that today, a whole lot of the biggest names in the corporate economy in Sri Lanka today runs on SAP. If you look at the top brands in the country, 4 of the top 5 brands today run SAP. If you were to look at market capitalization, and you take the top 15 companies by market cap, 8 of those names run SAP, right? So the big ones like John Keel's, Nestle Lanka, Hemas Holdings, Dialog Axiata, and Demo as well. All of them run SAP. So what has happened in the last 20 years, Anup, is we have been very closely working with the corporate, the organizations, the businesses inside Sri Lanka. And today, our experience is across multiple verticals. Our exposure is to multiple verticals inside Sri Lanka. So it spans across telecom, retail, manufacturing, distribution, you name it. So we are present actually across the length and breadth of the country, across various verticals, various companies of all sizes and shapes. So most importantly, when I'm saying sizes, what is not known is that SAP is present in 200 customers in Sri Lanka. And of that 200 customers, 150 of them are small and medium enterprises, SMB companies, small and medium businesses. Okay, this is not widely known inside the country. And I'm saying this because, when I'm saying, we are present in companies of all sizes, I mean that, we have presence in the top half and the top of the enterprise space. We have presence in the SMB space as well. 75% of our existence inside Sri Lanka is thanks to the small businesses. This is no different in any other market that we operate. A significant majority of our customers in the world come from small enterprises. So we are very happy to have been in Sri Lanka and contribute to the economy, contribute to the companies, contribute to innovation in the last many, many years. Now, coming to the question specifically, Anu, I said, the reason I said we started 20 years back is to give you one short perspective of how the technology world has changed in the last many years. So when we entered the country many years back, there was only on-prem, there was nothing called cloud. And today, cloud has taken mainstream. Happy to say that every company that we speak to today is having a cloud-first approach, okay? And more so, the small and medium businesses. Well, I represent the mid-market business as you introduced, and that's the reason why I'm talking about the small and medium businesses as well. Reason being, the small businesses is what the country's future is going to be based on today. The more the number of companies that come into this fold, the better the growth, the more opportunities we are going to take advantage of. So what we have seen in the recent past is a cloud-first approach, and reason for that is not far to seek. Easy to get in, no major capital expenditures. It's all OpEx. But the biggest advantage of cloud, and this is where I'm coming to your question specifically, advantage is on innovation. Okay, as a small company, it's not easy to invest dollars in your own dollars to innovate. But as a large company, SAP can create those innovations at scale and bring it to you for your consumption. Okay, so we have realized working with several companies globally that there are several innovations possible in supply chain, in logistics, in a lot of other areas that the newer technologies can help you, help the companies in there. So our solutions today come embedded with RPA technologies, AI, ML, blockchain, and all of this is adding value into our customer base. So cloud itself is an enabler for innovation, for adopting innovative technologies. And I think this has been a major contribution of SAP to the digital economy. One most important point that I would like to state here is the employment part, right? Many years back, when you used to do implementations in Sri Lanka, the implementations used to be carried out by overseas consultants. No more so, right? We're seeing a lot of implementations being done by in-house consultants inside Sri Lanka, and especially in industries like fashion and retail, we are also seeing that this talent is bidding for projects overseas, outside the country. So SAP's presence in the country, from influencing the digital economy per se, has been across innovation, in adoption, and of course, in creating an employment or expanding the employment inside the country. Well, so that was the answer to your first part of your question, Anu. You asked me one more question. You asked me, what is SAP's role going to be in the digital inclusion? Am I right? Was that your next question? Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
So given all that we have accomplished in the last 20 years, we believe there is a big role for SAP to play in the digital inclusion part inside Sri Lanka, right? I briefly touched upon the talent pool inside the country that is servicing not just Sri Lanka, but also customers outside. Now, this is where we believe the future lies. The future lies in digital literacy, right? So there are several areas that SAP can contribute from a digital inclusion standpoint. But for the sake of this conversation, maybe I will restrict my answer to 2 or 3, which I believe can make a difference to the economy. The first one is what I just spoke about, which is digital literacy. Okay, we believe the future lies with the youth. So educating the youth on digital technologies is essential for a booming future. And when I'm saying digital literacy, it is not just computational. It is also conversation. It's also communication skills. So we are investing into upgrading the skills of the youth when it comes to digital literacy. We are also working with universities to include or embed digital technologies into the curriculum. What we are also proposing to do now, and that's work in process, is to work to create a triad between the industry, academia, and SAP, which could be a self-fulfilling model for a continuous talent pool generation and application inside the industry. So digital literacy is one. The second important point I would like to touch upon is the SMB space, right? Providing technology to companies is one, but also getting everyone together, the ecosystem together, and showcasing what technology can do for them is the second bit that SAP can add value in. So what we're working on now is to bring together the government and the ministry, bring together banks, bring together the chambers, the SMB chambers together, and then showcase what technology can do for companies, provide access to low-cost technologies, and thereby increase the adoption of technology. So that's point number 2. And the third point, and the most important point now, is from a future-proofing point of view. SAP has deep embedded skills in a few areas that is now opening up avenues inside Sri Lanka. One of the areas I can think about is smart cities. So world over, there is a massive drive towards urbanization. And we believe that public-private participation is essential in making this successful, making it sustainable, making it livable, enhancing the citizen services. So we have a tremendous experience in that. And we would like to work with the Sri Lankan government in putting up the framework and the capability building for smart cities. So net, I would say, while there are many things to speak about, these 3 would be our top priorities to enhance the digital inclusion. That is literacy, e-leadership skills. It is about how do we enhance the adoption of technology in the SMB companies, and how do we bring about our expertise in enhancing the citizen services in the country. So long answer, Anup, but I hope I did justice to your questions.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Faiz. I think it is quite revolution that 3/4 of clients in this of SAP are in the SMB sector. I think that's quite revolution. Thank you for the answer. I have time, I think, for one more short question to both of you. It's a common question to both of you. The question goes like this: given that internet penetration is at a high and digital transformation is no more an option but a must-have, what is the advice that you would give to a company which is yet to embark on this journey? We have a lot of people on the fence, right? What do you do next? And how can they build a competitive advantage with these digital initiatives? Maybe I want to this question to Mangala first. If you want to go with this, Mangala.
Oh, yeah, Anup. So I think, as you said, I think that is not an option anymore. Transformation, going digital is not an option. Earlier also I said it comes in various forms, sizes. So everyone is going through this. Basically, if you don't, then you die. Examples everywhere. We have examples locally as well. Actually, I'm not going to quote those examples, but we actually have companies here, industries here. So I'll actually take probably one of the examples, which is with Demo. So, Demo is actually a trading company. So probably about maybe 60-70% of the revenue comes through trading business. In trading business, Anup, you need to have scale. You need brands. You need international brands. You need big companies associated, and then you need franchises. So those franchises, to be attractive, traditionally, those been probably your reach, how many branches that you have, how many physical staff you have. Those are the considerations. Even when I was attached to Unilever, what we experienced in terms of giving distributorships, etc., dealerships. Those are the parameters associated. The parameters associated now different, completely different, I would say. In future, it will be very different as well. So your digital capabilities are the ones that probably would differentiate in any industry. This is an example that I took. So you're talking about maybe what are you, how good are your digital supply chains, and then how good is your data, how capable are you in actually leveraging the data, use analytics to whatever. How do you find your consumer is also a concern now. Actually, this is this during the pandemic. You couldn't find your consumer. Actually, you don't know where the consumer was. So how do you find, how do you sell something if you don't have your customer? You don't know where that fellow is. So so in this mm, uh, franchises to be attractive to probably players like in future Mercedes or Tata or anyone that you're in business, would be these digital capabilities, and how would you differentiate even to be attracted by a big brand or name doing your trading business? Would be the digital capabilities, not anymore the physical branch network that you have or number of staff or sales force that you have. So the capabilities how you assess capabilities in organization, capabilities are different. So you, I think, will have to transform in based on the industry that you are in. There's no choice. And how we would differentiate is also actually through organizational digital capabilities. That is a must. So what I would recommend rather is actually digital transformation is actually is very simple, but you need to think, strategize, look ahead, and then probably be competitive in your domain, and then probably select very specific capabilities that you want to be engraved in your organization. So that is the way forward. So in terms of these digital capabilities, Timo, we have probably formulated strategies, and then we would do based on many industries that we have. But it is very different from one industry to the other industries. There's no single formula for this one. But transformation and then appetite to transformation, early investments towards that would be the key.
Yeah, thanks for the insight, Mangala. So I think it's a do or die situation. I think that's a key takeaway for me. Subbu, how would you see this market today?
Sure. I think Mangala has answered almost everything that I wanted to speak about. So thank you, Mangala, and I will not take long in my response. Mangala mentioned a few things. He mentioned about supply chain. He mentioned data. How do we leverage the data? How do we find markets, right? Exactly the same thoughts that I was going through, because now when you're moving from a pandemic to a post-pandemic environment, the one sentiment that's going on in people's minds is we have to move from survival to revival. And when we do that, it is supply chains that come into factor. It's about discovering access to newer markets, whether it be domestic or global. That's what comes into the picture. So my view here, Anup, would be that there were some companies that were already ahead in the digital transformation route earlier. There were some that were planning it. There were some that were postponing it. But the pandemic taught to everyone that the time to do it is now, right? You can't postpone this any further. So I would say that if you are a company that is planning a digital transformation at this time, then look at it from a few steps. Look at it at how am I going to future-proof my business? Look at how you're going to collaborate remotely. Look at how you're going to have nimble supply chains. All of these together, but have a structured approach. First, decide what do you want to do? Do you want to automate or do you want to transform? Right? It's akin to saying, do you want to digitize or do you want to digitalize completely? Right? Now that said, the next choice then is to figure out whether I want to just look at one function, like a customer-facing function or a manufacturing function, or do I want to take up a process that's cross-functional, right? Now, these two will help us formulate a technology roadmap, right? What do I want to do? In how long a duration do I want to do, Okay. Once this roadmap is ready, is when we try and what is then that we try and focus on the change management part and the upskilling part, which is the most important for any transformation. With this in mind, I think it's important that we find ourselves a trusted technology partner that brings global best practices as well as industry knowledge. Now, if these are in place, and if you have cloud as the choice of technology platform to move forward, I guess you are doing the right decisions. You have done it well thought out. So that would be my points. If the time is now to do transformations, digital journeys, but it's also important for us to look at what's going to make it successful, what's chewable, and what can sustain this in the next many years, because we don't want to be caught unawares when another such pandemic or anything else that disrupts our business, and we want to future-proof our businesses.
Yeah, thanks, Subbu, for the response. I think that's quite a takeaway for me as well. So basically, just summarize, Mangala mentioned about dual situation. Digital capabilities is what will differentiate companies from one another. Subbu, you mentioned about digitization versus transformation approach. Change management, skilling is a key. Just to put an example here, Moderna, which has one of the key vaccine manufacturers worldwide, did the entire vaccine discovery process on a cloud platform. Right? What more could be a better example than now to kind of substantiate the need to move to cloud, especially where scale and speed is very, very key. With this, I think we are just about time. Thank you so much for being with us today, or valuable time, this Mangala and Subbu, for this time. And thank you again, Kitis and the Ministry of Technology to give us the platform to convey our message. I hope the audience did enjoy the session today, and we welcome your feedback about this. And thank you, Raji, for being on the call. Thank you so much.